It was the last weekend of August when Tyler and his 3 friends decided to squeeze in one more camping trip before summer ended. The destination was Lake Harlow, a quiet body of water surrounded by dense pine forest, the kind of place people said was peaceful, but also whispered about when the sun went down. They set up camp along the shoreline, built a fire, and watched the sunset bleed into the water. The night air carried that subtle bite of autumn, the signal that summer was fading. By midnight, the fire had burned low. Tyler's friends were either half asleep in their tents or murmuring lazily around the dying embers. But Tyler wasn't tired. Something caught his eye across the lake, an orange flicker, faint but steady, deep within the trees. At first, he thought it was just another camper. But then he remembered something his older brother once told him. No one camped on that side of the lake anymore. Years ago, an old hunting cabin had burned down there under strange circumstances. People said a family was inside when it caught fire, but the official report listed the place as abandoned. After that, locals stayed away. Tyler couldn't shake the thought. The longer he stared, the more the light seemed to beckon him. Against his better judgment, he grabbed his flashlight and told his half-conscious friend, "Be right back." The friend mumbled something incoherent, already drifting off. The forest was different at night. The air was colder, heavier. The chorus of crickets and frogs that had been so loud by the water went silent the deeper Tyler went. Even his footsteps seemed swallowed by the darkness. After 10 minutes, he reached the ruins of the cabin. It was blackened and half-collapsed, just as his brother had described. But there, on a rotting wooden table in the center, sat a lantern. Its flame flickered steadily, casting long shadows across the charred walls. Tyler froze. The lantern wasn't modern, it was old-fashioned, the kind with a glass dome and metal handle. He took a cautious step closer. That's when he saw her. A woman stood in the far corner. Her skin was pale and cracked like scorched paper, her hair singed at the ends. The smell of smoke filled the air though nothing burned. Her eyes fixed on Tyler, wide and unblinking, reflecting the lantern light. Tyler's throat tightened. He wanted to run, but his legs felt locked. The woman tilted her head, her voice a low, rasping whisper. "It's not over. Summer never ends for me." Tyler stumbled backward, his flashlight slipping from his hand and clattering across the floor. The beam spun wildly, illuminating her face more clearly. Her lips blistered, teeth blackened, but smiling as if she'd been waiting for him. He bolted. Branches tore at his arms. Roots nearly tripped him, but adrenaline carried him back through the woods. His lungs burned, his chest heaved, and behind him he thought he heard the faint sound of footsteps, and her whispering words repeating over and over, "Summer never ends for me. Summer never ends." He burst out of the trees onto the shoreline, collapsing by the fire. His friends woke to his screams, rushing to his side, but when he tried to explain, his voice cracked and shook. The next morning, they hiked back to the spot together. The woods looked ordinary in the daylight. The cabin was there, but it was nothing but ruins. No lantern, no footprints, no woman. Tyler's friends teased him about scaring himself, but he couldn't laugh it off. The smell of smoke still clung faintly to his clothes, even though the others couldn't smell it. Years later, whenever he returns to Lake Harlow in late summer, Tyler says he still sees that same flickering light across the water, beckoning, waiting. He's never gone back to check, but he knows what he'll find if he does. And he knows she'll be waiting for him, because for her, summer never ended. Maya had worked summers at the Crescent Bay boardwalk since she was 16. Selling ice cream to sweaty tourists wasn't glamorous, but it paid for books and kept her busy. By the end of August, the place always grew quiet. The crowds thinned, the rides shut down one by one, and the boardwalk felt more like a ghost town than a carnival. This year was no different. On her final night shift, Maya leaned against the counter of the little ice cream shack, watching the empty pier stretch out beneath the dying sunset. Only a few stragglers lingered, parents tugging tired kids toward cars. Soon, even they disappeared. By 9 o'clock, she was alone. The waves slapped gently beneath the planks, and the smell of salt and old wood clung to the air. Maya closed the cash drawer, wiped down the counter, and began pulling down the shutters. That's when she heard it. Faint music drifting on the wind. Carousel tune. Her head snapped up. That was impossible. The boardwalk carousel had been shut down days ago, its power cut, the ride roped off with a chain. Yet the music floated down the pier, soft but distinct, carried by the sea breeze. At first, she told herself it had to be some tourist's ringtone, or maybe a recording from one of the game stalls. But curiosity gnawed at her. She stepped out of the shack, locked the door, and followed the sound. The further she walked, the clearer it became. The delicate notes of a calliope, warped slightly, like an old record spinning too slow. The hairs rose on her arms. When she reached the carousel, her stomach dropped. It was moving. The painted horses bobbed up and down, their chipped faces lit by the golden glow of bare bulbs that should have been dark. The ride creaked and whined, spinning lazily in the moonlight. And the seats weren't empty. Children sat on the horses. Pale, stiff children with blank eyes staring straight ahead. Their faces were gray, their movements unnatural. Not one of them blinked. Maya froze. "Hello?" she whispered, though she wasn't sure why. One of the children turned its head, slowly, mechanically, like a doll. Its eyes locked on hers. Its lips curled upward into a jagged, too-wide smile. The others followed. One by one, every head swiveled toward her. Their mouths stretched open in the same crooked grin. Then, in broken, overlapping voices, they chanted, "Stay with us, stay with us. The summer never ends." Maya's legs went weak. The carousel sped up, spinning faster, the music warping louder. The horses' eyes gleamed in the flickering bulbs, their painted teeth looking sharp and real. She stumbled backward. The wooden boards beneath her feet groaned as if ready to snap, and for a moment, she swore she could feel the whole pier pulling her forward, urging her onto the carousel. "No!" she gasped, and she turned and ran. Her footsteps pounded against the planks as the music chased her, twisting higher, faster, until she flung herself back into the safety of the parking lot lights. When she dared to look back, the carousel was still, silent, dark. The next day, she told her boss what she'd seen. He frowned. "Maya, that ride was dismantled years ago. We pulled the wiring, took the whole thing apart. Nothing's been working there for ages." But she knew what she had heard, what she had seen. The pale children, the grins, the way the pier had felt alive beneath her feet. For weeks afterward, she couldn't shake it. Even in her bedroom at night, sometimes, through her window, she swore she heard faint carousel music riding the ocean breeze. And sometimes, if she looked toward the shore, she could see the faint flicker of golden lights, spinning slowly in the distance. Because on the Crescent Bay boardwalk, some rides never really shut down, and summer never really ends. And those were 3 disturbing true end-of-summer horror stories. As the warm nights fade and autumn creeps in, remember, summer doesn't always end for everyone. Some memories linger, some shadows stay behind, and some voices never stop whispering. So if you feel the chill of the season changing, don't just blame the wind. It might be something, or someone, still waiting for you. Sleep tight.